see you. I didn't see you for one time the whole time I was there.
You were in her.
All right, let's get
We didn't have sex at all. We never had
He's
sex.
gonna lie
So one
regardless,
time
but
she
yes.
can take it, and next time she can't.
And then I asked about, like, if he could be my father, and a family member was like, yeah, possibly.
The court case opens. This episode raises important issues surrounding paternity, consent.
Ms. Ellis, you claim you had a brief fling with the defendant 3 years ago. Soon after, you ended up pregnant, and now you hope to prove that he fathered your 3-year-old son, Zamarian.
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Koger, you argue it would have to be a medical miracle for you to be her child's father. And you're asking the court not to order a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor. We never had intercourse at any time.
This only goes to prove that the testimony that you're giving right now is the truth. Because she's saying if you say so, because she thinks you did have sex.
And if we did have sex, why did you inbox me and ask me, am I certain that my son is not yours?
After Ms. Ellis recounts her version of the story, the judge summarizes both points of view from Ms. Ellis and Mr. Koger.
You say she experienced pain before sex, so you never had sex with her.
She told me.
And you're saying that it was painful during the sex and you asked him to stop.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he did.
Yes.
Ms. Ellis found out she was pregnant and didn't tell Mr. Koger about it. Mr. Koger sees her pregnancy picture on Facebook.
Do you somehow think that it might be mine?
No, you didn't say, do I somehow think it might be yours? You said, is it mine? I told you no, because I didn't want to have nothing to do with it.
The judge directly gives a reply to Ms. Ellis's reason for not telling Mr. Koger about the pregnancy. The audience reacts and shows approval of the judge's comment.
I mean,
Because I was with somebody else and they said that it was going to be there, so what's the point?
Well, the point would be if he's the child's biological father, he would have a right to know, and so would the child.
I feel like he should have a right to know, but still.
Mr. Koger's witness, Ms. Williams, steps in.
Go ahead, ma'am.
He asked her, do you remember when you said that you were having a problem with your vagina or whatever? And she said, yes, I remember that. So why are you saying that I'm the father? She was like, I don't know.
Ms. Ellis decides to drop a bomb. More evidence that leaves the judge and audience in shock. Things are starting to become clear.
All this time, I'm sitting up worrying about whether you had sex or didn't have sex this time upstairs in this house, and you had already had sex in the car, and you don't remember this either, Mr. Koger?
Because it didn't happen. We didn't have sex at all. We never had sex.
All right, so the car happened on the 7th of July. You were having sex with the ex at the end of June. So it's really only a week apart.
Ms. Williams and Ms. Ellis start an argument. It is getting heated, but the judge quickly says something to quench the fire that is about to spread. The judge's statement earns an applause from the audience.
I believe there is sufficient evidence. All right, y'all go ahead and argue back and forth, and then we won't have no test. And you can just sit at home all day wondering who the child's father is, because this don't make any sense. Proceed.
As the tension builds, Judge Lauren finally reveals the DNA test results, which provide a clear answer to the question of paternity in this case.
In the case of Ellis v. Koger, pertaining to 3-year-old Zamarian Johnson, Mr. Koger, you are Zamarian's father.
This episode begins as the judge reads out the details of the case, with the people involved affirming the information. Mr. Webb claims to shock the courtroom with his evidence.
Mr. Webb, you and your girlfriend say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father, and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with for the past 3 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And he slept in my bed with me for one night, and we had sex. April 11th.
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it.
You were never intimate with her in any way?
I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a half.
Ms. Cole's mother asserts that she and her husband took care of Mr. Webb the whole time he was in their house. Mr. Webb concludes that she and Ms. Cole need some kind of help.
You know dang good and well that me and my husband took care of you the whole time you were there.
I didn't see you for one time the whole time I was there.
Yeah, you were in her.
All right, let's get some order.
You're a sideshow. You need help just much.
Let's get some order.
Mr. Webb brings his evidence into display and surprises everyone.
She had sent me an ultrasound saying, that's a 3D photo. Tell me she don't look like you. So I said, Tasha, you're crazy. We didn't blink. I'm not the father to your baby. Please leave me alone.
Mr. Webb is not the only one with evidence. Ms. Cole showcases her conception month and due date on a calendar to the judge. Mr. Webb claims that the evidence was cooked.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
She don't even know.
May 15th, 16th.
How do you get those two mixed up? That's over a month. How are you gonna say that you think it's him and then over a month?
Ms. Aubriana, Mr. Webb's girlfriend, comes on strong to defend her boyfriend.
Are there any other details?
I can tell you how big his winker is. It's pretty small.
No, it's not.
It's about that
I've known him
big.
for 7 years.
It's
No,
about that
definitely
big.
not. Definitely not.
After listening to both parties' testimony and considering the evidence presented, the judge reveals the results of the DNA test, which ultimately determines the biological father of the child.
Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
Ms. Webb.
There, get her there, get her there.
This is a thought-provoking episode of Paternity Court, where a man claims he believes he is the father of Ms. Wynn's daughter. Meanwhile, Ms. Wynn has never given Mr. Williams any reason to believe he is the father.
Mr. Williams, from the moment you saw Quenisha Mayberry, you believe that she is your biological daughter, even though the defendant claimed you are not. You hope today's results prove what you have known for 35 years. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Wynn, you claim that you have never given the plaintiff a reason to believe he is your daughter Quenisha's father. In fact, you say you have always known who her dad is. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Williams takes the court back in time to describe the relationship he had with Ms. Wynn.
You know, we did mess around, but it was never a relationship.
So how long did this sexual relationship last?
4 or 5 months, something like that.
Ms. Wynn, how do you remember your relationship with Mr. Williams? Can you take me back?
I don't remember.
Quenisha tells the court that she doesn't feel any connection with the man that signed her birth certificate.
You had no connection with him?
Nope.
And you've only seen him like 2 times?
Yep, and that was when I was like 18, so.
Mr. Williams relates to the court how he got back in contact with Quenisha. The audience shows interest in the response Quenisha gives the judge regarding what Mr. Williams asked her to do.
And I was just trolling Facebook and social media, and I saw one of her family members, and I was just going on each one of them until I saw it was a post on that said Cali reppin' Baby, and I punched on it, and it was Quenisha. And that's when I reached out to her. And I asked her to ask a family member who I am, and they told me.
Did you do that?
Yes, I did. And then I asked about like if he could be my father, and a family member was like, yeah, possibly.
Quenisha shares an emotional experience of what she had to go through not having a father. She is certain that the other man is not her father. Her mom is also certain that Mr. Williams is not the father.
Well, she made me mad I didn't have nobody to go to. And then like I had family members that would, tease me about not having a dad. Like, aha, that's why you don't have a dad.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so hurtful. Mm-hmm. And so when you got that message from Mr. Williams, what did you feel? What were you thinking?
It's shocking. Like, cause my mom's supposed to have told me I shouldn't have to go to my family member.
I remember one comment she made to me. She said, I knew that man wasn't my daddy.
Ms. Wing gets emotional as she tells the judge how she feels about the whole paternity case. The judge helps her to understand that she is free to let her emotions out.
It's not that hard to just be honest.
In the final scene of the episode, Judge Lauren reveals the results of the DNA test conducted as evidence in the case. The result reveals.
When it comes to Quenisha Mayberry, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Williams, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.